Yo, what is up, guys? It's your boy Jay Z Bottom Lip, and I wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind, but I don't know really how to like classify the title. I'll probably figure out a title, but um, this video is really for people who are really good at the game or feel as if they are good at the game, but when they actually play, it shows that they aren't applying the things that's holding them back. And then on top of that, this video is for people who say Mortal Kombat sucks, but they haven't reached the highest potential of what they could be with the game, or at least played at the highest potential and get a realization of the game. Like, okay, I don't like this game. For an example, if I was to play this game and compete in the game, play casual with the game, get to the highest rank, and do so much more with the game, right? I feel like my opinion would be more valid to myself if I felt like, okay, this game is trash. And the reason being is because you have to look at the game in all aspects. I can play any character at the highest level, any cameo at the highest level, which I have done. And I realized that I don't like all the top tier characters and how they play because it becomes very like flowchart, very flowchart, where I don't even really get to fight the game, or I apologize, I don't really get to play the game how I would want to play the game. I'm more or less just giving my opponent a whole bunch of series of buttons and special moves just because they're very strong and making them have to guess off of that. It's just really strong. Like for an example, another example is Kenshi Possess. I played that character in MKX. He was my main, and I felt like the character was so easy. But now that I'm really good at the game, I can identify why he's easy. It's because he's very flowchart. He does a series of buttons, and then as he does a series of buttons, he hits you with an overhead, a low. If you block the overhead, it's safe. If you block the low, it's safe. But then if you block the low and try to take your turn, then I armor. If you block the overhead and you try to take your turn, I armor. If you block the overhead and then you decide to block again, I still armor, and vice versa. And then from there, I take my turn again and then give you a series of buttons. That's kind of how it is with the top tier in this game as well. And it also is the same way when playing with a cameo like Kung Lao or Striker. All you're going to do is just do a series of buttons into, you know, a combo and then throw a Kung Lao hat and make me guess. That's literally what most top tier characters do in this game. And I realize I don't necessarily like that. So I have to realize that I would never be considered one of the best in the game just because I don't play the meta. And I know there's a lot of other players that fall in this category just because of the sense of characters that they like. But anyway, I wanted to say all that because I feel like you need to have a real deep understanding, I apologize, of the video game in order to say that it's trash. And the reason being is because even though you feel like this game is trash, you might find something that you like about the game. And I feel like I like all fighting games. Now, Mortal Kombat does frustrate me because of how most people play the game and how the meta is. But I find things about the game that I enjoy, which was playing with friends. And then on top of that, learning about the character as I go, as I take it on Combat League, casuals, or just playing random people and figuring out as I go. I think the community makes the game very toxic as far as in them, you know, beating a pro player or whatever the case may be, teabagging, and then leaving. And it doesn't even have to be a pro player. It can be someone who has an annoying play style and that frustrates them. So they teabag and they leave and they send you a message. In my opinion, it's really good to play people who have an annoying play style because it's good to identify what annoys you because that can be your weakness. And once you realize that's your weakness, you want to strengthen it. But the problem with a lot of interact players is if it frustrates them, they don't want to play it. They don't want to deal with it. They're done. I've seen so many people rage quit and leave a set and rank just because they didn't want to deal with something in particular. But that's besides the point. The reason why I'm showing you guys this video is because I had someone in particular ask for games and wanted to play with me. I'm not saying any names, but they said this game was trash. They didn't like the game, and they played other fighting games like Tekken. Now, that's besides the point as well. But I wanted you to know what it looks like when someone says that this game is trash. And it's not that the game is trash. It's for this person to realize that the way they're playing is trash. Not saying that they're trash, but the way they're playing has a lot of bad habits. And I talked about it in different playstyles. And this playstyle is like very stubborn. And you can figure out what category of playstyle that falls in. But it's very stubborn. They don't like to be they like to mash. They don't punish correctly. And sometimes they go for like different combos for whatever reason. When they finally get an opening, they just switch it up for whatever reason, which is fine, but it has to work in order for it to work. But anyway, I wanted I wanted to show you guys this video clip because this guy in particular said he didn't like Mortal Kombat, and you're entitled to your opinions. And I'm not trying to make this person feel bad, but I just want people to understand, like, in order to have a valid opinion about a game, then you also have to be really good at the game as well. If you're going to say a game is trash, you would have to be really good and understand the game to understand that it's trash. But that's just my opinion. But I wanted you guys to see what it looks like. So that was the video or the clip I wanted to show you guys. We played a longer set, but I'm only showing you guys this stuff because I don't want people to get discouraged, especially like when you fight me. I know a lot of times I host like viewer sets and stuff like that. And all types of players come in there, really good players, pro players, casual players, sweats, people who just got into the game. They just want to know where they're at. When you come fight me, do not get frustrated and give up because you didn't do good as the last person who played me, or you had higher expectations. You thought you were going to take a game off me. The best thing I can tell you to do that's very important when you're fighting someone good is always, you should definitely always be looking to improve on something. Always figure out what your weakness is, and always set challenges and goals for yourself when you fight someone good. So when you fight me or anyone in particular, you can say, maybe I want to take a round off him every game. And then you can say, I want to throw him 3 times a round, or I want to be able to shimmy him. I want to be able to create mind games or condition him, at least make him frustrated. You get what I'm saying? When you set goals and expectations for yourself, you do a lot better rather than just playing the game and trying to adapt to the way I play and trying to beat me. That's the worst thing, because that's what conditioning is. And once you're conditioned by me, it's very hard not to get out of it, or not be conditioned, because once I already have you conditioned, I have so many different ways that I can start playing with you, because my first thing is always to shimmy you or create the mind game of thinking that you're going to get shimmied. And that's really one of the hardest ones to get out of once you're conditioned, because a lot of times you're going to try to OS duck because you're getting tired of being grabbed. So there's so many different mind games that you have to play. But if you guys really want me to, I can create a video in particular that talks about how to counter, but then on top of that, what's the pros and cons to a lot of things. So like, if you're fighting someone who likes to OS duck a lot, there's a few things that you can do in particular in order to beat this person. And then there's a lot of other things you can do when you're fighting someone who's a zoner. And then I know you guys have been asking me about videos on how to beat certain teams. The real answer to that is, it's not necessarily how you can beat that team. It's more or less how you can deal with that team. It's up to you to beat that team. I can only give you strats and tech in order to beat this team in particular that you're struggling with, but it's up to you to apply the tech and everything like that. So keep that in mind, but I definitely will have some videos for you guys for that as well. Like I always say, I appreciate you guys like and comment, but I wanted to really focus right down the middle with those players who are in the middle. Like, they're not bad, they're not good, but they're struggling and they're giving up on the game. They're calling it trash. It's not fun. I don't care to get better at the game. These type of players, but they always hop on and plays here and there because they still enjoy the game. It's just, you have to change your mindset. It's not about getting frustrated. Like I always also tell people, is that it's easier to get frustrated than it is to understand. And that's in any aspect of life. So you should always apply certain things to life and into video games as well, even though you would want to separate it. You don't want video games to take over your real life. But in order to be good, you have to apply certain things into video games that you will apply into real life, especially when it becomes being honest with yourself. That's the first thing I always tell people. Be honest about the things that you struggle with. Be honest about the things that you like doing, stuff like that. I always run into people that play, I can play all the characters. Can you really play all the characters? You know what I mean? Like, that's something that you really got to think about and be honest with yourself. Can you press all the buttons with every character? Are you able to actually use these characters, especially against any team? Like, if you were playing Reptile and your main was like Raiden or something, but you can play Reptile, can you play it against Sindel? Can you fight against a character who's Zone? You know what I mean? Like, can you fight against certain things that are very annoying that causes you to have to actually like chime down in and concentrate? So, all these things are very important, guys. I hate to see people get frustrated, and it's not a lot of people, but it's only a few people, but I still make videos just for even single people. So, I just want everybody to enjoy the game for what it is and not what they're trying to make it portray to be. So stop focusing on it to be like Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat X, Mortal Kombat 9, Injustice. Enjoy the game for what it is, but also take time and play other games as well, and you'll become a lot better. But like I always say, again, appreciate you guys watching. It's your boy Jay-Z Bottom Lip. I'm out.